You're listening to season 15 of the Virtual Tailgate, a media bullcrap production covering college football and the Atlantic Coast Conference. I'm Andrew.
I'm David.
I'm Geoff.
And I'm drunk on turkey.
Be sure to join the tailgate on Facebook at Virtual Tailgate or email us at virtualtailgate@mediabullcrap.com.
Andrew, I have to ask you a question. What does it do when Jared when Jared answers your intro like that?
It really, really messes with the transcription software. It really does. Sometimes it thinks there are only 3 people on the recording, and sometimes it just gives Jared a completely different name.
It doesn't think there's only 3 people, Andrew. It thinks there's only 3 contributors.
That is true.
That hurts. That hurts, David.
I should go back and find some of these things here.
Because I was just wondering, like, does the transcript say like Andrew, David, Geoff, and drunk on turkey?
Yeah,
Like,
sometimes it says that. Yeah.
yeah.
I'll go back and find one. I'll read it to you later on in the show. But I think our sponsor is getting a little antsy about not getting.
Well, our sponsor can hold on for a second here. We're gonna talk about important stuff this week, okay? This is we're recording this on Monday night. This is the week of Thanksgiving. A big holiday really kicks off the holiday season. As we head into December and everything. Really, Thanksgiving is the big day. Some people may have a Thanksgiving Eve service, if you will. David, you might be able to fill us in on that a little bit later if you want to. But we're not even going to focus on Thanksgiving Day, though. We're going to focus on the day after. We're going to talk about not Black Friday. We're going to talk about a thing called Brown Friday. Now, Brown Friday is not Black Friday's like lesser cousin. For those of you that don't know what Brown Friday is, it is the reported busiest day of the year for plumbers. And do you know why it is the reported busiest day of the year for plumbers? It is because
They
people
ate
spend
Andrew's turkey and dumplings.
people ate Andrew's turkey and dumplings. People took their entire Thanksgiving meal and they like, I piled my plate entirely high, and then my like 3-year-old looked, I don't want any of that. And then they had this entire plate full of food that they didn't want to just throw in the trash, right? Because that would be wasteful. You don't want to waste food, right? Because so you don't want to throw it in the trash. So what do? You put it in the garbage disposal. You take your cranberry sauce, your mashed potatoes, your Brussels sprouts. Who eats Brussels sprouts anyways? Green bean casserole, stuffing, sweet potato casserole, turkey gravy, roast turkey, mac and cheese, dinner rolls, mushroom stuffing, apple pie, candied carrots, potato gratin, cranberry orange sauce, desserts. I don't know what else do I have on my list here. Butternut squash soup. All of that. Just shove that in your garbage disposal. Hit the flip the switch button, and you know what you have? You have a massive mess on your hands. Black Friday may suck your money down. Brown Friday will send something shooting up that you don't want to know about. But you know what it takes to put that much stuff in your garbage disposal? It takes confidence. Confidence that your garbage disposal is going to be there for you. Confidence that no matter what you cram down that after that full Thanksgiving meal, it is going to suck that stuff through the pipes and out the garbage disposal into the sewer, like you expected to, so that you do not have to become the recipient of a Brown Friday Roto-Rooter plumber call. And speaking of confidence, what better way to shove stuff down the garbage disposal than while you're wearing your Dakota's work boots, looking confident, walking taller, and even classier and looking better for those in-laws that you may or may not want at your house on Thanksgiving Day. So Tecovas work boots, you want to wear those. You don't want to end up on Brown Friday.
We're gonna get sued eventually. I just know it.
By Tecovas or the plumbing industry?
By Tecovas, look, but the
I
only
don't
thing,
know.
the
I don't
only
Big
know.
turkey and dumplings.
the
I
only
don't
thing
know
that
what.
Geoff said that was wrong about the is he didn't make the connection that Brown Friday is Black Friday for the plumbers because they just rake in the dough. That's all we have to say.
Do you think-
Anyhow,
Do you think they give
Or
you
or
a
or
discount?
what I missed is Brown Friday, or as Jared just calls it,
Friday.
Friday.
all right, let's talk about players of the week. Um, Todd Polino, kicker for Duke. is earning his spot not for his kicking leg, but for both of his legs. He had a 26-yard run on a beautiful fake field goal.
That took confidence.
Yeah. Boldest play of the week by far, directly setting up the game-winning touchdown against, Duke's rival UNC. It was a heck of a play, heck of a catch on the pitch, and props to him for not trying to stretch it out and turn it into a touchdown right there, but rather just taking the hit and, getting out of bounds so that they could line up for the touchdown on the next play. So, Jared.
What do you think Coach Cutcliffe had to say about that?
Oh gosh, Jared, I'm talking.
Outstanding athlete.
There we go, Coach.
I can't talk and find the clips at the same time, buddy. Can you talk and laugh at the same time? You're up next.
Sometimes. I mean,
And Andrew, do you really want to know what Jared can multitask? Do not open a can of worms that you do not want an answer to.
Let's just say I can brush my teeth while doing something else on the potty. Anyway, Jake, you guys didn't need to know. Jacare, I can't talk now. The running back from Pitt, the Turner freshman kid, Jacaren Turner, for true freshman, was a revelation according to AI. 201 yards on the ground, the most by a Pitt freshman since 2015. I'm not going to read that. 56-yard touchdown scramble in the fourth was a game away against Utah.
Man, like the best performance of the week that turns into just a rambling nothing burger from Jared.
The best part of that was Jared played it off as though like he just he couldn't talk right, when the truth is he has no idea what the guy's name is.
Jacarian, right?
There you go. Good job.
Jacarian Turner. Sorry about that, Jacarian. Congratulations, game ball.
All right, I'm gonna go back in time to Friday night for my game ball. This may be the most impressive performance of the season on the defensive side of the ball. It's North Carolina State cornerback Devin Marshall. He was matched up all night long with the ACC's leading receiver, Deuce Robinson, for the Seminoles. Only gave up 4 catches on something like 11 targets on the night, while notching 2 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, and 4 tackles. It was a monster performance in the Wolfpack's big upset win over FSU. Game ball, Devin Marshall.
All right, for my game ball, I'm going back to the game that Jared was talking about, and handing out game ball, and I want to give a little bit of context. So I help coach my son's basketball team, and whenever we're like practicing running a drill, and somebody's running it wrong or doing something wrong, we yell like reset or do it again. Like, you're not getting a pass. You don't get to just do it wrong over and over again. You have to go back and do it again and fix it and make it right. So my game ball this week is going to one Pat Narduzzi, head coach of the Pittsburgh Panthers, who for some reason that is still unbeknownst to any of us on this call or on this podcast, up by 14 points at 4th and 9 in their own zone. I guess he must have been watching the Duke game before the Pitt game. I don't know, but inexplicably up in the fourth quarter, 14 points in his own zone, 4th and 9, decide to call a fake punt that, unlike the fake field goal that Andrew just talked about that led to Duke's winning touchdown, failed miserably. And my game ball this week is going to Pat Narduzzi because I want you to reset. Do it again. Here's your game ball. You get a chance to go do this again and make it right. And it was so wrong in his mind that he even went to the podium and actually admitted it.
Oh man, I'm a dumbass. How about that?
That takes confidence. You know what takes confidence? Admitting when you're wrong. Pat Narduzzi owned it.
All right. Well, that was beautiful, Geoff. So we're going to move on to these power rankings brought to you by the Virtual Tailgate with deep thoughts on the Virtual Tailgate. As we enter the Thanksgiving season, I wonder, is it okay to wear sweatpants if they're cut to booty length? Booty length. You know, it'd be better as a deeper thought if I could actually enunciate words. But we'll leave that for another discussion for another day.
Our one communications major, folks.
We hired him for one thing, and every week he lets us down.
Yeah, man.
He's either actively having a stroke or he's a 12 pack in.
You guys have got to stop doing these 11 o'clock podcasts. I am so freaking tired.
What 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 would you like to do it? Some of us have to work for a living.
10 o'clock. Like, 10 o'clock Eastern, we could start it then and be done by 11. It would be so
You could be
better.
through. You
We'd
could
be
be
done
through.
now if you do the power rankings.
Oh, David, you top 5, bottom 3.
I mean, maybe we just stop with the prep work and we just do it live from now. We're like, hey, we're logging on at 9 o'clock. I don't care if anybody has anything filled up. We're gonna just take this dog and show pony and let it go.
Just hit the record button, run it for a few hours, and then say, "Here, it's on the web. Go listen to it if you want to listen to it." Yeah,
Well,
no one listens to it. We get it. Anyway, top 5, bottom 3. Number 1, Virginia. Not moving up and down a spot on a bye week.
you
Congrats.
do realize it's a missed opportunity, right? We're way better than most of the stuff that talks ACC football.
Oh,
Since Geoff interrupted you, go ahead and do that number 1 team again.
number 2, Pitt. Jumping up 2 spots after 42-28 win over Georgia Tech. Number 3 is the U. Staying pat after their 34-17 win over Virginia Tech. Also tied at number 3 is SMU, jumping up 2 spots after their 38-6 drubbing over Louisville. And number 5 dropping down 3 spots after their tough loss, Georgia Tech. They get the George Carlin Award.
He clambered up, looked in, and nearly fell off in surprise.
Someone defecating.
At this point, it sounds like I'm defecating out of my mouth. Number 15, Virginia Tech, dropping a spot after their loss in Miami. Number 16, Syracuse, dropping a spot after their I'm making sure I read this correctly. 70-7 loss to Notre Dame.
And honestly, no, we're not even going to give them the George Carlin on this. We're just going to say, Notre Dame, you're disappointed. You were supposed to go to 3 digits in this game.
I mean, to be honest,
You didn't.
the final score was 70-7, and that's deceptive. It was not that close.
The
It
fun
was a 21-0 game before Notre Dame's offense touched the football.
It was 49-0 at half. Like, come on, man. You could have found 51 points in the second half.
here's my thinking. Why would Syracuse spot Notre Dame 21 points before they let the offense take the field? Are they stupid? I mean, that just doesn't make sense. Speaking of things that don't make much sense, it's the Boston College football program this year. They were on a bye, but they still remain dead last in our power rankings, which means 16 other teams still fit to say this.
Come on, you damn bird! Come and get me!
All right, boys. Now that the preliminaries are out of the way, it is time to talk football. But first, one thing I know for sure is that just like your fantasy football team, just like your March Madness bracket, nobody actually cares how your picks are doing. So, with no further ado, let's jump straight into
David, how close are you and Jared right now?
I think the standings stayed exactly the same this past week. So I'm sitting in third, Jared bringing up the rear in fourth, no change, no problem, nothing to see here.
How much
But
money did you lose this week, David?
I've got a plan. I've got a plan to recoup the $1,000 I just gave away this past week.
David, do you have concepts of a plan?
David,
I'm 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out from
David, how much money did I win this week?
Let's put it this way. Jared had a pretty good week, but Jared was came out on top this week, but is still in last for the season. That shows you how pitiful he's been all year long.
That's true.
I'm sitting in third. There's a chance that I'm going to come out first place in this whole thing.
It's so funny. I would be in third if I didn't follow David blindly into that Miami SMU bet, thinking we were going to make easy money, come out like bandits. If I just ignored David and say, like, I'm just going to play it safe and do something else, I'll be in third place right now. But instead, I get to play grab ass on David right now, trying to catch up to third place.
All right. The real moral of the story is on the season, the three of us, Jared, Jeff, and I, are in the hole. Andrew somehow is $2,600 to the good. He's also the keeper of the spreadsheet, the only one who knows how this data works. Draw your own conclusions. All right, here we go. Game of the week. Biggest game in Scott Stadium in a generation. The Who's play host to in-state rival Virginia Tech. Virginia is a 10.5-point favorite in this one. They control their own destiny, win, and they head to Charlotte to play for an ACC championship and a spot in the college football playoff. Hokies are going to be inspired in this one. They want to play spoiler. They would love nothing more than to send Philip Montgomery on his way as a winner in this one. Boys, what do you got?
I am taking Virginia to not only win this game, but to cover the spread, beat Tech by at least two scores. I know that's a bit audacious, especially if I'm guessing from everybody else's lines that they've got here. But I really do think that this is a Virginia team that's not going to be cowed by memories of the past, mostly because a lot of the people who are playing for us have never had to play Virginia Tech before, so they don't know. But nonetheless, I think we're going to be in a good spot going in for this game. If we're going to win, I think we're going to win big. This is not going to be a tight game. If it's tight, I think it goes to Jared's pick.
Yeah, so I kind of jokingly have made this pick just as a Hokie because I can't stand the fact that UVA is the better team this year. But if you have to look at history, there's maybe that whole mental anguish issue they're going through right now, trying to figure out how do we beat this Hokie team. This should be the year you all do it. Like there should be really no excuse of letting this game go. But with that being said, and because I want to catch up and win money, because that's what the game's all about, right? It's about this, but the moolah. According to David, at least, um, I'm gonna go ahead and have to say I'm gonna take the Hokies for the straight up win. Their odds are a little better on the front for the betting, and at the end of the day, they're not exactly laying down. They are fighting. I just Yeah, you would just have to think it's gonna take a few trick plays and some UVA malpractice on their front of giving away the football game, which quite honestly, we have seen that happen before with both teams. So, I got the Hokies straight up win, and I can't wait to be wrong.
Yeah, I've got I guess it's kind of the like splitting the difference on this one between you and Andrew. I've got Virginia Tech in the plus 10.5. Now, I believe that Virginia probably wins this game. On paper, they've definitely had the stronger season. They are the more complete team. Um as you said, like there's rivalry, there's history. Most of these players weren't around for that, but there's still a tendency in these rivalry games to tighten up, and I am not convinced that this Virginia team doesn't tighten up. I mean, it had already been playing with fire for a bit, for the second half of the season, and then got bit by Wake Forest a few weeks ago. Does have the extra week off this time in order to prep for this game against Virginia Tech, so everything is going their way as far as getting prepared for it. Um, on the opposite side, Virginia Tech, this is a team that is not looking very good, is definitely looking forward to James Franklin taking over as head coach next season and hoping to get them on the right trajectory. And is only a kind of a crazy game against Callaway from being on quite a losing streak, and they're already sitting at no win November straight in the face right now with 3 losses to start the month. But I think Virginia finds a way to win this game. I just think 10.5 points. If it was not a rivalry game, I'd say these two teams matched up against each other. Yeah, let's give me Virginia minus 10.5. The history tells us that they're going to tighten up. That something is going to happen. These two teams, even with Virginia Tech's season lost, they're going to come and want to try to play spoiler. They're going to want to try to keep that record going of the win-loss record against the Cavaliers. And it's just gonna mean something more to them, even with like a bowl season out of the question at this point. So I think Virginia wins. I think winning by 10 plus is in question.
I think I think we'll know a lot about this game by the end of the first quarter. If Virginia comes out looking as hot as we know they're capable of on the offensive side of the ball, put up a couple quick scores, it's going to be a good night for the Wahoos. If instead they come out tight, if they look nervous, if they look worried, if the Hokies look like the looser, more comfortable, even dare I say more confident team, could be a long night for the Wahoos. I'm gonna kind of lean on what Jared said about Virginia really looking like the more well-rounded, more balanced, more talented team on the season. If both these teams bring their A game, the Cavaliers win this one. I think the key difference here is the Virginia defense going up against that Hokies offense. It's the defense that's been able to force some turnovers, been able to really during the second half of the season. That's the unit that's carried the Virginia team. And the Hokies, with the questions at the quarterback position, with the inconsistent play all the way around, I think Virginia scores too much for the Hokies in this one. I also think they just exercise some demons after struggling for more than 20 years in this rivalry. Give me the Wahoos. Final score 35-0.
I'm gonna be exercising a lot of demons on Brown Friday. Isn't that right, Jeff?
If
Let's go.
if history is a precedent, I mean,
The showdown in Scott Stadium is the primetime matchup on Saturday night. We're gonna go back in time all the way to the noon affair. This one in Pittsburgh, Miami coming to town. Another game that technically has ACC title ramifications. Both of these teams are still alive, though Miami barely hanging on in the conference. More likely to maybe snag an at-large bid to the college football playoff. Pitt right there. They just need a Virginia or an SMU loss and then they can win and they're in. Miami is a 7.5 point favorite in this one. Looks like once again we are split down the middle. Jeff, what do you see happening here?
yeah. So maybe a little bit on the I've been maybe a bit premature on my Pitt in the money line a couple weeks ago against Notre Dame. They ended up getting blown out in that game. But last week, even I think it really comes down to playing to your potential at this point. I actually think that in potential, Pitt and Miami are not that far off. Now the rankings may not say that. Miami being the team that's ranked higher. And Pat Narduzzi tried all that he could to give away a game in which Pitt was dominating that game in the first half, early in the first half. I mean, it was, I mean that was a game that Pitt could have easily won, by 3 plus touchdowns. I mean, a terrible shanked punt plus a penalty in the end of the first half gave Georgia Tech an easy score. That big punt debacle gave them an easy score. Um, but this is a Pitt team that when they're well coached and when they play to their potential, I think can play with anybody in the ACC, and that includes a potential matchup if them and Virginia meet each other in the ACC championship game, which I think would be a really fun game actually. No disrespect to SMU in that case. I'm not even sure if the Pitt Virginia one is a possibility with all the 50 tiebreakers and possibilities. But this is a Miami team that's similar. We have question. I think both these teams, the coaching comes into question, right? Is both these coaches have shown the ability to make questionable calls at inopportune times. And I almost wanted to take Pitt on the money line in this game. It's Miami. They have to go up to Pittsburgh. Um, by all accounts, I don't know if it's going to be snowing or raining there. I know there's a winter storm. It's going to be cold though. I mean, it's definitely not going to be a southern Florida weather for this game. I almost wanted to take Pitt on the money line in this game. Ended up kind of dialing it back. I still think Pitt plays a closer game than a touchdown against Miami. This is an old Big East rivalry that is now come into the ACC. I think it's a close game. I think this is a fun game. I'm hoping to catch some of it in this one, but I think Pitt definitely keeps it closer than the touchdown that they're underdogs by right now.
Jared, you're not going to let him get away with all that, are you?
No, I think I am. Listen, I think at the end of the day, Pitt is playing surprisingly some pretty good football in a way that I don't think any of us expected after that Georgia Tech game. If Narduzzi can just keep it simple and not overthink basic game situations, I think they're going to be okay. I really do feel Miami is obviously the better, more talented team, but going up to Pittsburgh is no easy feat for the Canes. I feel like they have recently struggled going north, especially when it gets colder in the season. I think Pitt covers. I don't necessarily think they'll win, but I do think they go ahead and find a way to make it close.
Andrew, you and I both know they're wrong. Do you want to tell them why?
I So here's the problem. Geoff reminded me that it's gonna be cold, and I was reminded that, Miami's already won more games in November than they ever have since Cristobal. I am flagging on this, like, I was like, "Man, I'm gonna go with the Pitt, to cover," but, like, I think you're gonna have to do a little bit more work to convince me. I'm not sure that I think the summer children of Miami are gonna make it in Pitt. Like, I'm
Listen,
really flagging right now.
listen, I think we all know, and the voters and all the polls know that Miami is the best team in the ACC. They've stumbled a couple times. That's par for the course with these guys, but they are by far the most talented roster in the league. They're a team that even when Miami has drop games, they have hung in there with everybody. They're not a team that ever gets blown out. Um, they're going up against a Pitt team that has been hot in the second half of the season, to be sure. But I think what we saw against Notre Dame is what we're going to see again here. When Pittsburgh is outclassed by a talented offense, they cannot stop them. I think the Panthers defense is going to have a hard time getting off the field. Carson Beck seems to really be coming into his own of late. Malachi Tony is the most explosive threat at wide receiver that we've seen in a long time. That combination, they are gonna tear up that Panthers secondary. Miami wins this going away. They make their statement for an at-large bid to the college football playoff. The spread's 7.5. I think the Hurricanes win by 2 touchdowns or more.
Why not 3? Why not
You
4?
gave me
Actually, the craziest thing of all, and I couldn't believe he agreed to this, but Jared actually decided to put his money, or in this case, his body, where his mouth was. This is a tattoo challenge for Jared. He's actually going to have the "U is back" across his lower back. Um, Miami over the spread.
Actually, so
Across.
you gave me time to come back on this, David. Um, I remembered that there's a theme across all of my bets here. It's what I want to happen to make sure that that things line up for us. So I want Virginia to win going away. I want Miami to win going away, and then we can talk about the next game as well.
All
So,
right.
so, so before we hop on though, before we hop over to that game though, if you do happen to be up in the Pittsburgh area though, can we all agree that a $33 ticket to watch this Miami Pitt game is quite a bargain?
Yeah, that's a good deal. I mean,
I
you're
mean, I
gonna
mean,
be
it,
all
it,
the
it
way on the top and the first person getting snowed on, but
well, I mean, yeah, it's not going to be it's no Syracuse BC ticket prices, but
Honestly, if you pull that off, the money that you saved on the game ticket, you can use to hop on a quick flight, head out to Berkeley for the 8 o'clock contest. Mustangs of SMU coming to town, facing the interim coach Justin Wilcox out at Cal. SMU licking their chops, ready to make their statement for the ACC title game. SMU comes into this one 10-point favorites. And it looks to me like Andrew and Jared are saying not so fast, my friend. And honestly, I don't know what Geoff is going to say.
yeah,
So, yeah. Oh, go ahead,
yeah,
Andrew.
like I said, I'm going for what I want to happen. I wanna watch, I wanna watch Pitt and SMU get knocked out of this. Virginia gets to play against the recipient of the chaos for the,
Andrew,
championship.
I need to tell you something about your strategy here. You know that what you're doing, this fire you're playing with, is how Virginia ends up having to play Miami in the
How
conference.
Virginia ends up beating Miami in the conference
Okay,
championship.
yeah,
I
I need
gotcha.
to know.
I
Give me
gotcha.
Pittsburgh every day of the week over that.
No, I legitimately think the fired coach win one for the Gipper momentum shift is real and is has happened more than more than once, more than twice so far this season across all of college sports. I think that Cal, had they not fired Wilcox, I think that Stanford would have beat them twice. Given that they did fire their coach, I think that there is a rally around the team. Let's see what we can get done. Chance plus SMU having to go out west just enough to make it a problem. Jared, I assume you agree with me on every point and don't want to add anything.
Absolutely. The one I want to add is that Nick Wolovich is going to be the temporary head coach for Cal.
That's the guy
Relative,
from the vaccine guy.
yes, exactly. So that's what Cal's going to cover unless everyone gets COVID due to the fact he doesn't mandate the vaccine.
Oh man, what a guy. I'm gonna go ahead and make my pick. I think you guys are wrong. Um, SMU is playing very good football. Did you see them beat the living snot out of Louisville on Saturday? Never mind that nobody played for Louisville. Never mind that they fielded their JV team. Um, Never mind that some high schools could have been competitive in that one. SMU really have looked good. They stumbled against Wake earlier this month. And then since then, they have rolled off 3 really big wins. I think they keep the momentum going. This is an SMU team that has a lot to prove. They came out last season ready to prove that they belonged in the ACC. Ready, and they ran the table a year ago, stumbled in the conference title game, still made the college football playoff. They desperately want to make a return trip there. Kevin Jennings is the real deal quarterback for these guys. That's the difference in this one. They win big on the road against Cal. I wanna say right, Geoff, but I I don't know what you're about to tell us.
Yeah, well, let me tell you a story, guys. A bear and a Mustang are taking a dump in the woods. And the Mustang says to the bear, "Hey bear, do you ever have a problem with getting scat on your fur?" And the bear says, "Well, no." The Mustang takes the bear and wipes his hind parts with him. By 10 plus points, David's right on this one. SMU is gonna take the beatdown they delivered to Louisville this week, and they're going to take it to Cal. Cal has been up and down. They have an interim head coach. There's no reason why the Bears, despite early season overperformance, win this game or lose this game by less than 2 touchdowns.
All right. That was a work of art, Geoff. True poetry. Thank you.
I like to call it poetry, but by the way,
Oh, this Friday truly is brown. Um So in a moment, we're gonna kind of do some quick fire bets on the rest of the matchups this week. But there is one game that we cannot ignore. This is the Sickos game of the year in the most sicko conference of the Power Four. This is number 16 versus number 17 in the ACC power rankings colliding as the Syracuse Orange take on the Boston College Eagles. This is a matchup of two teams that could not be colder in this contest. Syracuse playing host. They're sitting at 1-6 in the conference on the season, 3-8 overall. BC comes in at 1-10 and 0 for in the ACC, and somehow the Eagles are the favorites in this one. 3-point favorites on the road. Andrew, tell us why. Tell us something.
I I don't know, man. Like, I'm going pure value pick on this. Syracuse is the underdog. Syracuse is also playing at home. Like, give me the money line. I think that Syracuse is like at least opened under because of the tragedy that they were a part of recently. But hey, man, you get to come home, you get to wrap it up. In the dome. Um, who knows? Maybe the Heat will go out and they'll play a cold game up there in the north.
Have you seen any reason to believe that being at home makes any difference for them?
I don't know, man. Like I said, it's a value pick. I'm just taking the like if I win this one, I put 100 down, it turns into 224 or something like that on the line. That's all there is. Like there's no reason to think that anything matters for anyone in either direction of this game. Like not a single
Andrew,
bit.
I'm starting to question your dedication here. I'm hearing that all you care about is the money.
I look,
That
it's
explains why he's the
not
only one
it,
who got any.
it's it's not that all I care about is the money. It's that I looked at this game and tried to find something else to care about, and I couldn't, and so I just went with value instead.
Well, I've got something else. Bill O'Brien's pride. This is the man who does not want to get shut out in ACC play for the season. He's already in double-digit losses overall this year. He doesn't want to finish 0-8. Boston College is playing for pride, and it turns out, I never thought I would say this, the 1-10 team is actually better than Syracuse. I think BC wins this thing by a score, right?
Well, they have to win by a score. That's how it usually works in college football. Um, I
But
have
they
Boston.
don't. The 10 times this year, they did not win by a score.
No, no, they did not. But if anyway, I have Boston College to win by at least a score too, David. Whether it be 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 6 points, who knows?
That's what
But
you have.
yeah,
Not
I
what
mean,
you have.
yeah, they will. They're just due, right? This is their moment. They're going to be the game of the week on the CW network. And when you're on the CW, it's time to go out there and show the nation, all 50,000 TVs watching this game, what you're truly made of. This is your moment, Boston College. Seize it, enjoy it, embrace it, and then go out the winners that you are, damn it, because no one puts Boston College in the corner.
I'm really not sure how to follow that one up, and I'm not sure that it's even possible to follow up what Jared just said. Except I, th- I think he's right, even when his logic is wrong. Um, I mean, this is a game. Here's a question for you guys. Can anybody tell me when the last time Boston College and Syracuse won a football game? I mean, there are only so many to choose from.
I,
Maybe you
bel
looked at it earlier, but
I believe Syracuse last won a football game a few months ago, and I think
oh, it's been a few months ago. Yeah.
Boston College last won a football game, I think, around the War of 1812.
Well,
I mean,
You're closer
Syracuse
than
had a
you may
different
want to believe.
quarterback.
So
Syracuse lost their quarterback after that last victory. In that last victory, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah. So Syracuse back when we were wondering if Clemson was gonna right the ship,
Oh
got
gosh.
their
Spoiler alert, no.
got their one ACC win and last victory on the season thus far. Um, back in on September 20th. Boston College, on the other hand, at being 1-10, has the distinction of having a victory, but not having won a game in September or October because their victory actually came in their opening game of the season, which was like August 30th. So that's how long we're talking about here. Um,
Wow, damn! Like they've gone legit a third of the calendar year without a win.
I mean, they have gone whatever September is, shut out September, 0 for October, and no in November. Like they could go for the trifecta and still
Quarter.
not go winless. That's
Yeah,
I I just
but
love the fact that they beat the one team that they beat by 56 points. Like, it just really shows what the difference in the FCS schools and even the worst of the FBS schools is these days.
yeah.
Yeah, you
I
get the
mean,
idea that Fordham is not very good.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing, and David, you've mentioned it. Syracuse really went off the rails when I can't remember his name, but their quarterback went
Stephen
out for the
Boy,
season.
yeah. Yeah.
That took away what was a promising season for the Qs to start off with. And since then, Boston College's offense has not been anything great all season. Syracuse has really went off the rails when they lost him. Both these offenses are really bad, ranked near 100th in the country in Division 1. The only good news coming in this game that both their defenses are worse than that. So there is a possibility that at least the offense is, put up some points in this game, albeit it may be like an ugly affair. But that may be the only positive coming out of this game is that the offenses may actually be able to move the ball, some of these games, in some of this game. I think, in a weird, sick way, somehow Boston College has been more competitive against common opponents than Syracuse which is why I've got Boston College in this victory. But let me tell you, it is a sicko bowl of sicko bowls right now. What a way to end the season.
Indeed, indeed. Well, that means it's time to move on to quickfire bets, and I'm going to kick us off here with our first one. I have got uh, Louisville on the money line. I think that they are going to be better than Kentucky. I don't know if they're going to be 6.5 points better than Kentucky or not, and I don't want to much think about it. So I am just holding them down on the money line for this bet here. Um, it would appear that Jared has wandered off, and so I will let you know that his first quickfire bet is that in the clean old-fashioned hate, he thinks that Uga is going to take it on the spread. Uh, so we'll let that one go. We'll move right on to Geoff. Who you got for your next bet there?
Well, I just remembered, like, with being rivalry week, do we have a name for the? Is there a name for the Notre Dame Stanford game here? Do we have a?
That's one of the shillelaghs, right?
Is it the is it the chalet?
I think so.
That's what we used.
No,
That's what we used to have. We used to have a whole listing of all these like rivalry
Notre
games.
Dame rivalry games. Let's see here. Fighting Irish football rivalries.
I think they're going to call this one
Stanford,
belt to backside.
the Stanford football rivalry does not appear to have a name attached to it. It
Here's a
is
it becomes
USC
the
that
first.
has the jeweled shillelagh.
That,
Yeah.
that, that, that's very disappointing, and it might be the most exciting thing that we could have talked about for this game. But I've got is what is it minus 29.5? Is that what we've got Notre Dame
Yeah.
minus?
Yeah.
And believe me, Notre Dame can win this game by 29.5. They showed that last week against the game against Syracuse. I think though, I have a suspicion. I don't have any justification for this. Last week, I think they got it out of their system. They're clearly a team. I don't think that any I mean, whether they win by 3, 4, or 5 touchdowns in this game, I don't think is anything that is going to make a big difference in their college football playoff standings. I think they're gonna win this game convincingly. Stanford showed a little bit of life last week with their and they've shown a little bit of life recently in some of their games. I think that Stanford keeps it closer than that 4 plus touchdown um range. Certainly loses this game, probably loses it by I think around like 21, 24-ish, 29.5 just seems a little bit high. I think Notre Dame kind of got that out of their system with that 70-7 beatdown of the Qs last week.
I'm taking Wake Forest on the road. This game opened at a 3.5 point spread in favor of Duke, has already dropped to 1.5. I think Wake not only covers the spread, but I think they get the outright victory over Duke. This is a very, very red hot Wake team going up against a Duke team that has been up and down and all around. Duke kind of got knocked out of realistic contention for the conference title a week ago against North Carolina. I think they're still kind of hungover from that. Wake gets the win on the road.
Didn't Duke beat UNC?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not what you said, but anyway, uh,
Yeah.
I just wanted to double check. I apologize for missing my last bit about the Georgia Tech game.
Yeah,
I
what we
gotta check.
yeah, what were you doing there, Jared? If you want
I
to,
had,
if you don't mind filling us
I had to
in.
go check my shit tank. The alarm went off, and it's not it's not pumping. And so I was like, "What else?"
Jared,
Cousin Eddie, is that you?
Jared, this is how Brown Friday happens. I'm just telling you. I mean, this is
Don't
how it
get
starts.
it's a good thing I'm not hosting. Not thinking about it anyway. UNC NC State, another Research Triangle rivalry game here this week. I got the Tar Heels to beat the Wolfpack. I know the Wolfpack had a nice win this past weekend, but the Tar Heels have been fighting lately for Bill Belichick. I think they'll give it one last hurrah, and then we'll see what happens after the season with Belichick and the Tar Heels. But give me North Carolina for the straight up win.
All right, so I've got Florida State and plus the 10, and I believe it's 10.5 against their rival, in-state rival, the Florida Gators in this game. Um, this is a Florida State team still, for whatever it's worth, has something to battle for. They're sitting 5-6 bowl eligibility at stake right now. This is a Gator team that has has less at stake at this point. They're eliminated from bowl eligibility contention, and just in addition to that, it's this is a Florida offense that is just anemic. Does not put up many yards, does not put up many points. Even if Florida State's defense is maybe not a lockdown defense, I think it should be able to hold them in check. Meanwhile, Florida State's offense, for all of their struggles this year, still manages to put up yards, still manages to put up points. I wouldn't surprise me. I almost want to take Florida State on the money line here to make it more exciting. But I'm gonna play it a little bit safe and say Florida State plus 10.5. Would not shock me to see them come out with the outright win in this.
All right, and finally, last and well, maybe least, we've got a game that in the preseason looked like it would be a huge contest, national title implications potentially. Both of these teams have really faded and fizzled as the season's gone on, but this is Clemson headed down to South Carolina to take on the Gamecocks. Both teams really, really disappointed, but I think Clemson wins this. This opened at something like a 5.5 point spread in favor of the Gamecocks. It has uh, dropped down to 2.5 at the time of this show. Wouldn't be surprised if by the time it closes, Clemson are the favorites. They're the better team here. Though they've been inconsistent, I think they do enough to win on the road against Shane Beamer and company.
All right. Well, that is it for the virtual tailgate. You can send your questions or comments to virtualtailgate@mediabullcrap.com.
And always remember these three rules: never get less than 12 hours sleep.
Never play cards with a guy who has the same first name as the city.
And never get involved with a woman with a tattoo of a dagger on her body.
Stick to that, and maybe Chapel Bill can be named the winner after the fact.
And that's ball game.